Hi, I'm Geraldine Clark, and I'm here with our U.S. Senator Robert Menendez, and we're at the New Jersey Black Issues Conference. Hi, Senator Menendez.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
It's good to see you again. Senator, you're here to talk to the New Jersey Black leadership, and what are some of the things that you're going to discuss with us this afternoon?
Well, I'm going to discuss a lot of what the Black Issues Conference is going to be looking at, which is economic opportunity. How do we strengthen the opportunity for our communities to get access to capital, to grow our businesses, to strengthen our economy so we can get people back to work and give them the dignity of that opportunity, about education, which is the key to social mobility in this country, and we need progress in that in our communities, about health care. And finally, about particularly about law enforcement in the context of the Supreme Court and some of its rulings, and we're looking on the horizon why the next presidential election, among many reasons, is so important, because that president will pick several Supreme Court nominees that make decisions about what is the law of the land.
Okay. Now, you've made comments about quite a number of things. What is it that you're looking for the New Jersey Black Issues Conference to do to help you with this agenda?
Well, I want input on their ideas as to how we can best targeting programs and policies that would strengthen the community, empower the community economically, educationally, and in healthcare. And while I want to share the things that we're doing and working with President Obama on, I also want to get feedback about how is it that some of these things might be better tailored to create a more powerful effect.
Okay. Now, you've been in the Senate almost 6 years now,
Yep.
right? So you're getting ready for re-election. What is one of the issues that you have been dealing with for the past few years that you really look at as one of the successes of your term?
Well, Geraldine, I think the most important part is my focus on how do we create access to capital to our businesses, because that creates growth and economic opportunity and economic empowerment. And when you have economic empowerment, then you have political empowerment at the end of the day. So, working with the president, the Small Business Jobs Act, which dramatically increased the Small Business Administration lending, got rid of a lot of the red tape. In that law, I included a provision that I authored for $1 billion in community development financial institutions. These are the type of entities that invest in our communities, communities of color, underserved communities. That's getting ready to be rolled out by the Department of Treasury. That will give a lot of full faith and credit to our, small and mid-sized businesses. The backbone of 36,000 African American owned businesses in the state alone. It's an example of creating access to them. And so, that, and of course the tax policies that as a member of the Senate Finance Committee I've pursued to help families. So the extension of the child tax credit, for so many families who have children, getting that credit is giving them money to be able to help that child be raised. The effort on the payroll tax cut, very important for working families, have about $1,500 more in their pocket that they can use to spend for their necessities, at the same time create a ripple effect in the economy. So my laser focus is on how do we get people back to work, how do we grow this economy, and some of the successes I've had in that is part of what I want to continue to do so that we can continue to grow that economy and get people back to work and help them realize their hopes and dreams and aspirations.
And I know that there's been a lot of talk about the foreclosures, the banks, the bailouts. That people are really in dire need of help. So what are some of the suggestions that we can do to help in our own communities with the economic problems that are happening right now?
Well, that's a great question, and I chair the Housing Subcommittee in the United States Senate. And one of my initiatives is letting people who already have a home refinance at the lower rates without a lot of costs that would allow them to stay in their home, be more responsible borrowers. One of the things that we can do is help people in home ownership counseling, and those who have a home, counseling so that they can know their options to be able to preserve their home. A lot of people just don't have the knowledge themselves, and organizations that get trained and are willing to be home counselors are incredibly important. And then also changing a lot of the policies on how foreclosure takes place to give that family a fighting chance to still be able to preserve what is in essence the single most important asset that any family has, which is their home.
Right. One last question. The 2010 census has come and gone. You were very instrumental in helping us get that information out. However, we still lost a congressional seat. What is it that you think is missing in trying to get people more aware of what's going on in the government?
I think that it takes all of us as a community to try to have people understand that when we are not counted, we lose. We lose money for education for our children. We lose money for health care. We lose representation, as we lost now in New Jersey. We lost one congressperson. Instead of having 14, we'll have 13. And so the results, instead of having 13, we'll lose 12. I'm forgetting about the old district.
Right,
and so over the last couple of decades, we've lost a seat each time,
Right.
and that is not something we can afford. When I know, and I'm sure you know, that I believe our population has
way
grown.
higher.
Now, there's a lot of people who just are afraid to fill out a government questionnaire that is absolutely anonymous, confidential, cannot be used for any other purpose. But we need them to understand that every person who doesn't fill out that questionnaire, who doesn't get counted, makes a real negative difference in our lives.
Well, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing, not just in the U.S. Senate, but in the communities as well. And I really appreciate the work you did with me. Believe it or not, we did 3 censuses together,
Yeah.
and getting people aware. So there are some other, options that I think we can do, and I will be in contact with you because I think the census is really important, and the fact that we did lose a congressional seat more than once in the past 30 years, as you just mentioned, and I think we could do some little things like have census awareness days and things of that nature.
And we can build over the next, even though it's 8 years away and it looks so long, it'll come here
It
before you know
comes,
it.
we both know that our
Yeah.
birthday comes around just like that. So I just want to thank you for coming out this afternoon,
you
for
for your
taking the time
service.
to talk to us, and if there's anything that we can do, just let us know.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right.